People often look at the final season of Game of Thrones and say Sansa Stark did almost nothing to earn her crown. She didn't kill the Night King. She didn't burn armies with dragons. She didn't lead a charge on the battlefield. She didn't assassinate tyrants or sit on the Iron Throne for even a single day. And yet, at the end of it all, after Daenerys died, after the throne melted, after the kingdoms were reshaped, Sansa walked back into Winterfell and was chosen as the first queen in the North in hundreds of years. To many fans, it looked like she simply stood still while others fought, bled, and died, and somehow ended up with a crown. But if you look closely at the story, her rise to power is one of the most quietly intelligent transformations in the entire show. Sansa actually begins the story wanting the opposite of what she ends up becoming. She dreams of pretty dresses, songs, and King's Landing courts filled with romance. She wants to marry a prince, not rule a kingdom. She wants safety, not responsibility. Her idea of power is shallow because that is what she was taught. But the moment Ned Stark is executed and she becomes a hostage of the Lannisters, everything that shaped her old life shatters. Many characters in the series respond to tragedy with rage or revenge. But Sansa learns to survive by watching, listening, and absorbing every detail around her. This becomes her strongest weapon, not swords, not armies, but knowledge earned in silence. People say Sansa did nothing, but surviving King's Landing under Joffrey Baratheon was one of the hardest things any character ever had to endure. She lived in the same castle as a boy who delighted in tormenting her. She was threatened, humiliated, and constantly under Lannister control. Yet she never broke. She never gave them a reason to kill her. She never revealed the truth about her family. She learned how to speak politely while thinking sharply. And through all of this, she watched Cersei Lannister up close, the woman who practically ruled the Seven Kingdoms. Sansa absorbed everything about how Cersei manipulated people, how she used fear and charm as weapons, how she survived in a world dominated by powerful men. This was Sansa's real training, unofficial, silent, dangerous training. When the Battle of Blackwater happened, Sansa did not fight. She was not on the walls with the soldiers. But she was in the Red Keep, calming the scared women, standing firm while the world burned outside. Cersei ran toward despair, Sansa moved toward hope. That small contrast showed something important. Sansa had the calm discipline of a true leader, even when surrounded by chaos. Later, when she was married to Tyrion Lannister, she again did nothing violent. She didn't plot a rebellion. She didn't strike back at anyone. But her refusal to break, or to become cruel like the people around her, kept her true identity intact. She protected her sense of justice, honor, and the Stark name. Tyrion respected her, and for the first time in King's Landing, someone saw her intelligence clearly. Even though she wasn't free, she became mentally stronger. Her escape from King's Landing after Joffrey's death is another moment fans overlook. She didn't swing a sword or poison the king. But without her composure, without all the little things she had quietly learned from Cersei, Tyrion, Varys, and even Littlefinger, she would have died that night. Her strength was not physical. It was strategic. When Sansa reached the Vale, she entered the next stage of her evolution. Littlefinger began teaching her the art of political manipulation. This was the most dangerous lesson of all because Littlefinger wanted to shape her into a version of himself. And in a way, he succeeded, but only in the parts that Sansa needed. She learned how to read lies instantly, how to understand motives, and how to control people without ever raising her voice. Many believe Sansa never outsmarted Littlefinger until the very end, but this is wrong. She was studying him from the moment they reached the Vale. She was learning how he played alliances like a game of chess. She watched him betray Lisa Arryn. She saw how he manipulated the lords of the Vale. She understood that he thrived in the silence between conversations, exactly where she had lived her entire life. When Sansa returned to Winterfell, she was no longer the scared girl who left it. She had seen the darkest parts of the Seven Kingdoms and survived them. She confronted Ramsay Bolton, another monster that would have destroyed the old Sansa. Even though she did not kill him with her own hands, she orchestrated the moment he lost control. Her letter to the Vale brought the army Jon Snow desperately needed. Without Sansa, the Battle of the Bastards would have been a massacre, and Winterfell would have remained under Bolton rule forever. And yet, people still say she did nothing. The truth is this: Sansa doesn't fight battles with swords. She fights battles with decisions. And she wins them quietly. After the Starks retook Winterfell, Sansa became the one person who truly understood the dangers of power. She questioned Jon Snow not out of jealousy but out of experience. She knew how northern lords could turn. She knew how southern rulers operated. She understood how quick loyalty could shift. And most importantly, she understood something Jon never realized. The North wanted a Stark. Not a hero, not a Targaryen, not a Messiah, but a Stark. When Daenerys arrived with her immense army and her dragons, Sansa became the only northern leader brave enough to question everything. She didn't blindly admire Daenerys. She didn't fear her. She simply understood her. Sansa saw the red flags long before anyone else. She questioned the food supply. She questioned loyalty. She questioned trust. All of this came from the lessons she learned in King's Landing and the Vale. She wasn't being difficult, she was being responsible. And then came her most defining moment, telling Tyrion the truth about Jon's parentage. Some might say this was a betrayal, but in reality, it was the moment Sansa chose peace for the North. She knew Daenerys would never allow an independent North. She knew Jon was too loyal to confront Daenerys alone. Sansa did what leaders do. She positioned her people for survival. After Daenerys died and the surviving lords and ladies of Westeros gathered to choose the next ruler, Sansa said nothing dramatic. She didn't campaign for power. She didn't demand a throne. She listened. She observed. She waited until the right moment. When Bran was chosen as the new king, Sansa stepped forward calmly and simply stated that the North had suffered too much to ever bend the knee again. No threats, no shouting, no manipulation. Just truth. And everyone accepted it because they knew it was fair. Even Bran, her own brother, respected it. In the end, Sansa became queen because she learned more than everyone else. She paid attention while others chased glory. She survived while others fell. She remembered every painful lesson and turned it into wisdom. She did not fight for power. Power naturally came to her because she was the only one who knew how to use it without destroying the North. So yes, people say Sansa did nothing. She didn't kill the Night King. Arya did. She didn't lead the charge against Cersei. Daenerys did. She didn't break chains or win battles or perform heroics. But she did something far more difficult. She survived everyone. She outlasted every enemy. She learned from every tyrant. She rose without violence. She protected her people with her mind, not her sword. And in Game of Thrones, where nearly every powerful person dies because of their own ambition, Sansa Stark becomes queen precisely because she wasn't chasing a crown. She was preparing for responsibility. She became the kind of monarch the North had always needed: calm, intelligent, steady, and fiercely loyal. That is how Sansa went from a girl who wanted fairy tales to a woman who quietly outsmarted an entire kingdom. That is how she did nothing and became the queen in the North. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Sansa deserved the crown, or was someone else more worthy? We would love to hear what you think.